understands that Arbiters are on the way and prepares for it. I think NaDa's actually in pretty darn good shape here as we're heading into the mid-game here. We're a little over 9 minutes already. And he's doing a pretty darn good job, NaDa is. I think he needs a little bit higher tank count to defend that high ground in this new base. Not a ton there. He also needs some vultures. He needs to establish a minefield. If he doesn't get a minefield up there relatively shortly, that could end up being a little bit problematic. As soon as an Arbiter pops out, I don't even know if Cal is observing all of this with that observer. So I suspect that NaDa could, or Cal could actually just, as soon as he gets that Arbiter, just charge in there with speed lots and dragoons, and really punish NaDa for kind of forgetting his TVP tactics and forgetting to establish a minefield and forgetting to keep vultures in front of those tanks. That's really is not good right now for NaDa. There we go. Now the vultures are in there throwing down some mines. He needs to get some more in there. A shuttle for Cal is going towards NaDa's main as well, dropping 4 zealots off. Going to be a nuisance here. And no, NaDa's pulling back the vultures. This is going to be really bad. NaDa's pulling back the vultures, which means Cal could attack that mineral only. And Cal is going to take this opportunity to attack right into that. There's not very many mines, and they are not doing too much damage. And now their zealots are getting right into the tank lines. This is going to be awful for NaDa. NaDa is not going to be able to defend this effectively. Those vultures being pulled back out of position. SCVs being pulled off the line to try and block for these tanks. It's not going to be enough. SCVs are not going to be enough here. Zealots already getting into those tank lines. Looks like 7 or so tanks have come down, have fallen, and reinforcing tanks for NaDa is going to be enough to hold this off for now. But that was not a very pretty engagement there for NaDa at all. And Cal actually picked up 3 of those zealots and has just dropped them off again. Is trying to abuse NaDa right now and doing a pretty darn good job of it with this shuttle and these zealots and this multitask heavy strategy of Cal, and you know that Cal's a guy with great mechanics, and his multitask is not something that you really have to worry about, whereas NaDa most certainly is, and that's unfortunately what we're seeing here. NaDa unable to defend on all fronts effectively, losing several more SCVs here once again. As you can see, there's a vulture sitting there, and no SCV micro going on. The vulture's not moving for several seconds, and that's just one of those things that you see out of veteran players. It's really unfortunate. You know, it's just something that they for whatever reason have always struggled with, is that multitask, and you can really abuse them sometimes with that kind of a strategy. NaDa, unfortunately, hasn't really put up enough missile turrets either. Could really put up a missile turret or 2 in his main, a missile turret or 2 at his mineral only. Would definitely be a good decision here. And Cal dropping off those zealots again, and this time they're finally going to get picked off because there is a Goliath around. So Cal's games here are going to end with those Goliaths. NaDa finally ending that harassment, but Cal's got to be very, very pleased with that harassment. Probably, what, a half dozen SCVs, maybe more even. Took the opportunity to get the bottom left double gas expo up. That pylon there is actually going to block vultures, at least for a little bit, and we could actually see it being replaced if Cal is really paying attention. He could get a probe up there and replace that pylon pretty quickly. To stop vulture harassment that much longer. We do have this Arbiter out. It's been out for a pretty decent while here. And is he going? I think he might actually going for a recall before stasis. In which case, he is a true baller and doing some crazy work here. And he's going to beat the missile turrets. There are some mines. Will he recall on top of mines? No, he passes over the mines. This is going to be bad for NaDa, passing over mines and going right into the mineral lines and forcing that command center to lift. SCV's already on the retreat, and Mines not able to do very much. Their Mines actually killing off more of NaDa's stuff than Cal's, and Cal still has a couple zealots in there. We're able to get a couple of the tanks, and this was we'll see how much damage Cal is actually able to do, but so far it's been a pretty solid harassment here. He's still picking off vultures, as tanks just really aren't able to get in here and support the vultures as of yet against these dragoons. And these dragoons are doing a pretty good job of killing off a lot of vultures and just really wasting a lot of NaDa's time, really stressing his multitask. Cal didn't get very much in terms of buildings, didn't get very many SCVs, but certainly was a disruptive force. I don't know if I would say it was the most effective recall, but it was a decent one for sure in terms of establishing initiative, in terms of putting NaDa back, putting NaDa's forces kind of out of position, and now you can see Cal really taking advantage of that particular fact, is that he's now going to flood into this mineral only of NaDa's, And this is going to be another case where Cal is just really just playing on top of his game, although he did lose that Arbiter kind of carelessly. But this command center is going to be sacrificed. That command center is dead. Concentrated Dragoon Fire takes it down, but NaDa does at least hold down his choke and maintains his tank count. His tank count is close to what? Maybe close to 2 control groups, maybe 17, 18 tanks, maybe even a couple more than that. But yeah, NaDa is not very happy right now. He's back down to 2 bases. Really needs to get a 3rd gas going. Needs to actually do some damage to Cal in some form or another. Cal has just been allowed to expo every. He has the 3 o'clock up and running as well. That bottom left could have up to 2 assimilators already, so within the next minute or 2, Cal could really be on 5 gas, which at that point you can either make 15 arbiters or you can make 15 carriers, and yeah, that's never pretty if you're a Terran player. Good defusals there by Cal, able to eliminate most of that minefield, and NaDa really needs to do something with this push. He has gotten to the high ground, and that another nice mine drag by Cal. Cal is just playing very, very well in this game, taking advantage of every trick he can, and you can see another Zealot with that Arbiter Tech chasing in there, and not bringing in SCVs to build turrets, and a nice stasis going down, catching 3 tanks, and now Cal is just going to walk in here, and is going to do as much damage as he can. NaDa needs to keep doing damage, and needs to keep getting scans off at good times, and needs more vultures. Just not enough vultures is what I'm noticing more than anything else. Fortunately for him, Cal ran out of Zealots. Really didn't have that many Zealots either, so NaDa was able to hold off for now. But I just fear for NaDa so much right now. He's not in the best of positions, and really, oh man, another Zealot just walk. You need turret. Actually, I don't even know if you can build on this high ground. I don't remember. You might not be able to even build on this high ground, in which case he's going to need a science vessel, because there's no way he has enough scans to do this. Another stasis going down, catching 4 more tanks actually. And now the reinforcing Zealots are streaming in. Most of the goons have actually gone down already, so I don't know if this is going to be enough to push this back. It's going to be pretty darn close. It looks like it is going to be enough to push it back. The Zealots were able to get enough into the tank lines that the tanks shot each other. So even though the Dragoons weren't doing damage, tanks were doing damage to their own tanks, unfortunately. And yeah, this is NaDa is really falling behind. Both armies get swapped, but that is always an advantage for Protoss in these kinds of games. And Cal is taking that inside 3 o'clock mineral only, and that would be his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th base. NaDa is trying to get his 4th base up and running at the 9 o'clock. That would be his 3rd gas finally, but he is just so far behind right now in terms of gas, and in terms of factories. I'm sure he's behind as well. That it's hard to see NaDa's comeback strategy in this, a comeback method, just because Cal is going to be able to get a ton of tech out, a ton of gas units. He can go for more recalls, and it just doesn't look like NaDa's really prepared for this. You can see that observer for Cal still in NaDa's base, telling Cal, hey, there's a spot where there aren't observers. You can come here and recall here if you wish. And mines are really one of the most important methods of